Hold the mic close to your mouth, Gareth. So anyway, I'm by the river and I'm enjoying the breeze because it really is hot now in Japan, hot and humid. But anyway, today's lesson, we are going to paint a fantastic scene that I came across about 3 or 4 weeks ago in a place called Nagayu. So it's like a village and it's famous for spas. But in the village itself, I couldn't see anything that was really worth painting. But I noticed the surrounding countryside looked very beautiful. So I drove out there, and I have to mention it was raining. But luckily, by the time I got out into the countryside, the rain had stopped and the scenery became really beautiful and very misty. It was magical. So I took my drone up and got some amazing images. I'm trying to ignore my wife. It's terrible, isn't it? She's walking by the river. And I'm like, don't look at me, don't look at me. But anyway, I think she got the message. But there you go. The joys of making YouTube videos. There you go. I'll do a wave. No, she's got her back to me now. I'll have to apologize later. But anyway, so where was I? I completely lost track of my thoughts. Just a minute. And I've been eating nuts as well, so I've got all these little bits of nuts in my mouth. Wasn't such a great idea. But anyway, yeah, I took my drone up and I got some amazing views. So it was really, the sun was beginning to come out, the clouds were beginning to part, and there was this amazing mist along the ground, and you had beautiful mountains in the distance, and it was just wonderful. And I found one particular scene that I thought was really good, and that's what I decided to paint. Now, the materials I used will be listed in the description box. And also, I have to warn you, this is a very challenging painting, or at least it was for me. And I've been painting for 15 years, but I don't think that should stop you, because like challenging paintings, wow, the train's going past. So very noisy train. So anyway, where was I? Blew my neck. So I think having a go at challenging watercolor lessons is one way of improving very quickly. But also, I think this is quite an exciting scene, and you're going to learn a lot as well by doing it. You're going to get very good at painting like mist and a misty countryside scene. So I actually found doing the background with the misty mountains and hills easy, and I found doing the rice fields easy as well, fairly easy. But what was a real challenge for me was doing the buildings. And at first I did it in stages, you know, like paint the wall, let it dry, paint the roof, but I didn't like it. And I'm not saying that approach is no good. I think it can really work, but it just wasn't working for me. And I decided to do it all in one go, which I think can be quite, hope I'm not spitting nuts at you here, which I think can be a bit intimidating, or a bit, you know, to do it all in one go. So if you don't want to do it that way, that's fine, but that's how I did it. And I'll show you some of the paintings I did, because I've I've painted this scene now about 10 or 11 times. Yeah, so many times. But I think that's one of the ways you get good. But at the same time, if it really becomes a bit overwhelming for you, then don't do it, because it's don't kill your momentum. So whatever makes you, start to paint and that thing, don't ever kill that. Yeah. Don't let any teacher, such as myself, tell you how to do it. And that suddenly kills your momentum because they're a perfectionist. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. You have to find your own way. And so if just doing it one time is enough for you, it's enough and move on. The most important thing is that you paint as often as possible. And whatever, this is a bit of a lecture, apologies about that, but whatever gets you to your easel and gets you painting, use that. That's the best advice I can give you. Anyway, this went on way too long. So I'll move on and let's do the painting. I really hope you have a go. And if you do, let me know how it went. Let's begin. So I'm going to do the land area about a third the way up the paper. So 2/3 sky and 1/3 land. Have to be careful to get this line horizontal. Then I'm going to have my buildings roughly about here. Yeah. This is a very complicated roof. I'm not going to draw it exactly the same. It has some very irregular parts. I'm going to make it all look regular and keep it simple. I struggle a bit drawing buildings. Unless they're very simple. And these buildings, they have a bit of an irregular design. Which makes them quite challenging to draw accurately. I'm just shading this so I remember this is the path, because I do find it easy to get confused. Yeah, there's some nice lines here. Okay, put my figure maybe here. Reflection here. And then my dog, maybe here. Ah, I'm not having the tail go up. Okay, now I think we're ready to paint. Okay, so I need a big flat brush like this, and I'm going to wet here. Then get some yellow ochre. And then here, soft yellow ochre. Then lots of water, dab on the rag, and do this. Like an outer half circle. Okay, now I'm going to get some of the cerulean blue. Cobalt might be better. Just a touch more, and a touch of burnt sienna. There we go. Bit more. Some water. And we've got kind of like a soft grey. Very beautiful. And then this comes in a little bit. Hopefully you don't get a hair. Just checking that the video is working. Can be a bit of a nightmare, that. Okay, like that. There we go, like that. Like that. And then pure water, dab on the rag. There we go. Finish that. Get a mop brush. Then cerulean blue, burnt sienna, bit more. Maybe a slight touch of alizarin crimson. Not a lot though. Dab on the rag. And here we go. It's quite wet, so I don't have to rush. Wow. So this is wet in wet. Oh, it's drying out a bit here, so I have to speed up a bit. You think you've got lots of time, and then suddenly you seem to have no time at all. Maybe a bit like life, really. Okay, that's quite nice. The heavens are opening up, quite beautiful. So hopefully we can do a mountain here. So cerulean blue, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna. Okay, here we go. That's enough. It's quite beautiful. Yeah, I like this bit of the painting the most. Then wash it out, dab it on the rag. That's so important. I used a bit of tissue as well. And then we do this. Okay. And now I'm going to do a hill over here. So, cerulean blue, burnt sienna, touch of red. I want it greenish, so not too much red. Oh, here we go. Maybe not. Ah, it's not too bad. Green grey. Something like that. And then water. Wipe on the rag, very important. And then under here, wet, and then move slowly up into it. Like that. And then going to get some tissue. And here we go. I could have made it maybe a bit greener. But grey is not too bad because at least it's warmer than this. And this needs to be blue because it's the most distant part of the landscape. And this is closer, so this needs to be warmer. Okay, I think that's it. I'll wipe my edges. Have to be careful about edges. Easy to get cauliflowers along the edges, at least for me. Okay, so we've done the sky. Fantastic. Let's leave that to dry. Okay, now I'm going to do the grass. So I think I'll use my mop brush again. And to be honest, the grass is very strange. So this bit here is a very bright green, almost unnatural. Then there's a yellowy brown colour here. And then here it's quite dark. So I don't think it looks natural, so I'm not going to copy that exactly. So this is yellow, Imidazolone yellow, some cerulean blue. We'll begin with this. And then I'm going to add a touch of yellow ochre because I want some variety. Okay, I forgot to switch my microphone on. Okay, touch of this yellow ochre. And important point is to take your time. There we go, like that. And then I'm going to get my small bamboo brush and going to mix cerulean blue. There's a bit of old paint in here as well. Cerulean blue and a touch of alizarin crimson. So it's a kind of purple, grey purple. And then timing is very important here. So if your mix is too watery here and this is too wet, it will explode. So you don't want that. That's why I often dab my brush after mixing on the rag. Very, very important. Students are not doing that often, especially beginner students. And because I dabbed it on the rag, it's not too wet, so it's not exploding, and so I've got a little bit of control over the shape. But at the same time, it's soft as well. So that's that done. That looks a bit too perfect, to be honest. So I'm adding a few little marks. Very dangerous, this. Soon too much. I think that will do. When you do the shadows, normally less is more. Not always, but often. Okay. I live in a very, very noisy place by a road, and often you can hear ambulances, fire engines, police cars. It makes videoing quite a trial, to say the least. Now along here there's a big layer of like some yellowy orange. I'm not going to do that because I'm suggesting it a bit, but I think it just looks a bit unnatural. Oh, I didn't have grass here. Okay. Okay, there we go. I might make a little bit of it a bit darker, maybe here, or I don't know, just different variety, yeah. There's supposed to be some white bits here for water. There we go. And then let's do shadows again. So cerulean blue, alizarin crimson. We've got a purplish colour. Okay, take your time with this. Less is more. It's dried there. It dries at different rates in different areas, which is a bit of a pain. Luckily, I'm using 2 brushes, so I can correct this without having to clean my brush again and that hassle. Okay. Now this bit coming down here is a really difficult thing. So I'm having to suggest that this is a steep bank. And then when we get about here, I can use the big brush. We've got like a, this is, well, maybe not. This is in shade. So we've got blades of grass here I'm trying to suggest. And we've got this curve coming down. Have a few little bits. Maybe it's okay. Still not sure about that. And then here I'm just going to spray this. That goes up there. These lines are really useful. Actually, I can't really see these very much. There's a few of them, 1 or 2, but not that many. But because I like them and I think they really add to the painting and the sense of perspective, and there's just many things that is good about these lines. I'm going to add more than I can actually see. I hope you can't hear my stomach growling away. You wouldn't believe the kind of things that happen when I start videoing. You know, people appear at the door, ambulances are going down the road, trucks right outside the house. It's just, honestly. And then when it is quiet, my stomach starts growling. And it almost never does that. Okay. Less is more, less is more. Easy to forget. So, stomach growling again. So at the front here, I'm doing a bit more, and then at the back, there's nothing. And maybe just here. Oh, Just dried. Can't believe how much my stomach is growling. Okay, I think that's it. Probably overdid it, to be honest. I'm going to give it a good spray. And I'm going to get my liner brush. I'm not sure if I can do anything, but I'm going to try and make a few thin lines. My stomach, it's like, you know, a thunderstorm. It keeps, you know, making noises in the background. Oh, goodness me. Okay, I think that's done. I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to do the path. It's not too bad. The next thing I'm going to do are these buildings. So this was a bit of a nightmare for me. So at first I did them in stages, but it didn't look very good. So then I had a go at doing it all in one go, the whole lot. I thought that looked better, but to be honest, it was a bit difficult. So, but I'm going to do that way, all in one go. So I'm going to try and make this a kind of bluey grey colour and this more of a warm reddy colour, but we'll see what happens. I'm still not happy with my results when it comes to this. Okay, so I'll use a big brush to begin with and then smaller brush for getting the right edges later. So here we go. A bit nervous. Once you begin, that's it. You really have to move fairly quickly. That's not too bad. Okay, then I'm going to move to my bamboo brush, and I might make this a little bit redder. I think I just have to accept, although it is a challenge for me, that at the moment I just can't do this as well as I'd like to. But for something inside of me, that's just hard to come to terms with. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but there you go. Okay, and then, oh yeah, this is a nice colour. And it's already drying, so spray horizontally, not directly, and keep it wet. Sometimes I'm in the flow and nothing can go wrong, and other times I'm just not in the flow and it's a slog. And this is a slog, I think. It might change, but at the moment it's a bit of a slog, which means I don't feel amazingly comfortable or confident. Okay, here's my green and a bit of green for here. Wet it again. I think maybe I should have done it super dark and then lightened it a bit. Anyway, too late now. I use my pointed over brush, cerulean blue with some of this reddish mix. It'll go grey. And then do the bottom of these bushes. Okay, so we've covered everything. Now it's time to go dark. So that barn, I'm going to use phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna. It's getting there. It overshot a bit, but I'll use this. And it dried. Flipping it. Don't try. Bit of shadow there. And have to spray it again soon. And then switch to this brush. And I think a little bit of cerulean blue with burnt sienna. No, that doesn't work. Cerulean blue with a touch of alizarin crimson, just a touch though. Maybe it should be cobalt blue. Spray. This is what I don't like. Have to keep it wet constantly. Okay, this is a little bit better. Maybe a bit too blue. Okay. And then let's go dark. Phthalo blue. Burnt sienna. I must admit, watercolor painting sometimes takes a lot of courage. For me anyway. Alizarin crimson. And in we go. it's not too bad. And it's a bit darkened here. Now, if you find this difficult, don't worry. It is difficult. That's why. But it is one of the ways to get better, you know, doing difficult stuff. It's not bad. It's maybe working a bit. I'm hesitant to say that because we're not out of the woods yet. And then there's little bits and bobs here which, if we can suggest them, would be really nice, right? Okay, I think that is okay. It's dried there and there. Fingertip is very useful. Wow, it's not too bad. Very difficult. Okay, and then finally, let's do some windows. So they're a real difficult colour. Something like a kind of cerulean blue, but maybe a touch of green in them as well. My green is like concrete. Come on, green. Okay. Then hopefully this is not going to spread too much. It's quite thick. Dab on the rag. Okay. And I think that's it. I think the shape of this house is not quite right. Can I fix it? Don't know. Maybe that's a little bit better. Buildings can be very unforgiving objects. If you get it just a bit wrong, it can really look off. Okay. These things are difficult to get right, very difficult. Okay. Liner brush, I'll use this. And then water. Pure water. Okay, I'll use some paint. Have to try and get them very straight and very thin. Not too bad. They're a little bit thick. Okay, let's leave this to dry. Okay, so the buildings have dried. I'm pretty happy with them actually. I was a bit worried about doing them. Now I'm going to do a tree here, and then I'm going to do this path. So yellow, touch of cerulean blue, bit more, and I like a slightly thick mix, and then I splay the hairs a little bit, and then like this. Okay, that's not bad. Then dark mix, cerulean blue, alizarin crimson, so it's a kind of purplish colour. Dab it on the rag a bit, and then this bottom left-hand corner is going to be the darkest bit, yeah? And then we're going to have little bits up here over the top of these holes, I think. And then a few branches. Yeah, it's not too bad. And a little bit of shadow there. Okay. So I look at things like this with squinted eyes. It's very important. And just see if it looks correct. I did quite a bit of faffing with that, to be honest, which is not good. But there we go. Okay, next this path. I am a bit of a faffer. Okay, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, a touch of burnt sienna, bit more. We'll get there. Okay, that's not bad. Bit more water. Okay, here we go. It was a good idea to shade this path with the pencil because a few times I forgot where the path was, and I painted it green. So you might have the same problem. Okay, then water it down a bit. So using water and rag. And then water down even more and wipe on the rag. So we're getting very light now. And I think that will do. A little bit of dry brush at the end. Very nice. Maybe I should give it a little bit of an edge. I'm not sure. The edge is actually brown in the photograph. It's dried brown grass, but I'll make it dark, phthalo blue, bit of red, bit of burnt sienna. I normally use about 3 colours at most. Okay, there we go. That's quite nice. And I think now, yeah, I'm just wondering whether to, I've got to let this dry, then do the figure and the dog. But I'm just wondering whether to add some colour to this foreground area and kind of liven it up a bit. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit. So I'll use this pointed over brush, a little bit yellow. And could be a big mistake this, but it's good to experiment. That's what I'm going to tell myself. And I think that's true. Yeah, I think that looks good. It's quite exciting, isn't it? I think I'm quite a vanilla person. Things like this excite me a lot. I'm okay with that. There we go. Yeah, that's good. And then here, careful not to touch this grey. I should spray that a little bit actually. So I think that was a good idea. I think there's something quite nice about it, but I could be just, deluding myself. Maybe that's good. And a little bit here. Oh, I'm quite happy with that. Let's leave it to dry. Now I'm going to do the figure and the dog. So I'm using my bamboo brush, phthalo blue, touch of alizarin crimson, and burnt sienna. So a darkish colour. Wipe on my rag. Okay, here we go. Bit wet, so wipe on the rag. Okay. And then the dog. That's a bit thick. If you get in quick with a tissue, it's amazing how much paint you can remove, but you have to be very quick. Dogs have a very long neck. Not too bad. And then shadow. Because it's just after the rain, so the path is wet. I should have done them both higher up to make this shadow, or reflection, sorry, this reflection a bit more noticeable. But there we go. And then I want a touch of blue, just a touch. Too much, wipe on the rag. Okay, like that. And then blend it in just a little bit. Okay, and then over here we have a utility pole, so let's do that. So some of this dark mix, but I want it quite thick. Okay. Okay. And then maybe a few touches around the windows. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Don't have to be perfect, just a suggestion. In fact, if they are perfect, it's probably not going to work so well. And then maybe here there's a bit of a mark here, and then something like this. Now this could be too much detail. Let me know what you think in the comments. Too much detail or it works. I think it works, but oh, there's no roof there, Gareth. Okay, I can erase that later. And it's very faint. I have to take my time here, I'm rushing a bit. Okay, you have to get it all lined up correctly, which is a bit of a pain. And then I think that's mostly it. This is dried, so I can get some yellow ochre now. Thick, I need thick. And some Pyrrole red. Sadly, it's a bit like concrete, which is not very good. Needs to be a bit more moist than that. And then we're going to do the face, just a touch. Okay, and then here, a hand. Hands are very tricky. I think that's okay. Okay, and then let's make the dog yellow. This could be a mistake. Not a golden retriever, maybe, I don't know, but a bit yellowish. Then again, I don't know, it's quite good as it is, isn't it? Should I leave it? I think I'll do something. Ah. And then just make this watery. And just give it a yellow tinge. Maybe not too bad. And then with this pointed oval, maybe we can just soften here a bit. And here. And then I think maybe get some yellow and some cerulean blue and just a little bit of shade there like that. You can do all kinds of stuff. It might be wrong, but it's kind of fun. Didn't mix it enough, but got away with it, I think. Okay, I think that's a bit better. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is, you really don't have to do this next thing. I just find it quite fun, but so I'm going to use a palette knife. So I've got some blue, I've got some burnt sienna. Put my palette knife in here and do this. I find that it creates a very interesting textural surface. But it's not easy to control. And I still need a lot more practice at doing it. But I think it's good for this path because this is a very rough path with, yeah, very rough surface. So you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I find it kind of fun myself. Okay, and I think that's that done. Final thing is some white highlights. So get my liner brush, get some white paint, got some here. And hopefully it has dried, the figure and the dog. So I might do, doesn't really need any here because it's white behind, so we're not really going to see a lot. Okay. Oh, that's lovely. That's what you want, a very thin line. If it's a bit too wet, it'll be very thick line, so. Wipe on the rag to get rid, hopefully, of excess water. That would give us a thick line. Yeah. And I think we're going to have, this could be a bad idea, but some water down here. And maybe even here. I'm going a bit crazy now, aren't I? Okay, and then get this knife, palette knife. Ooh. Not sure if that works so well, but it's good to try these things. Now, is there anything else? I don't think so. I think that's everything. Maybe I could add some trees in the distance there. Let's do it. Ooh dear. It might work, it might not. We'll see. So, get like a bamboo brush, get phthalo blue, burnt sienna. That'll quickly give us a strong green. Dab on the rag, just to get rid of excess water. Trees in the misty distance. And then what I need to do, pure water, dab on the rag, fingers crossed. Something like that. Maybe we got away with it. What do you think? Okay, some misty trees. Oh, I shouldn't faff around, sorry. But I think it needed it there. I think that made that a nice bit. It looks a tiny bit empty here. I do wonder if this should be darker. Okay, let's do this again then. Goodness me. So normally I don't recommend doing things again, but then again it's good at the end when you've finished just to have a look and just think, is there something that needs doing? And then it's a question of courage. Like, well, if the answer is yes, are you prepared to do it? Because it might go wrong, and then you're going to be a bit upset. Well, I will be a bit upset if it goes wrong. Okay, here we go. What does that look like? Yeah, I think that's better. Don't want to get too near this tree below. Okay. There we go. Then next, this is tricky. Get tissue, clean your brush, dab it on the rag, not too much, then a bit on the tissue, below the paint, and then go up into it. Below the paint and go up into it. And I should stop there, but I'm going to do a bit more. But I think that's better, don't you? Now it is dangerous and it might go wrong, but always remember, practicing these things and taking these risks will, in the long run, make you much better at painting. So I think that's it. Yeah, I could do a few birds, but the sky's so pristine, isn't it? I almost don't want to touch it, to be honest. That really is pristine, isn't it? Beautiful. So I think I will actually leave it there. So please have a go. And remember, most important thing is have fun. And then after that, be a bit bold, yeah. And don't get down if it goes wrong. I can guarantee you it's going to go wrong a lot. Okay, bye for now. Okay, so I hope you had a go. If you did, let me know how it went. And I'll be back again soon. I'm going to try and be consistent. Not an easy thing for me, and let's be honest, not an easy thing for arty type people. But I'll try and be consistent and be back again 1 week later. Wow, I just saw a flying fish come out of the water. There it is again, and go back in. It's wonderful. He's having a real fun time. Who knows, could be a she. But they're having fun, I think. But anyway, I'll be back again fairly soon, in a week or two, with another watercolor lesson. So I hope you enjoyed this. And also, I do sell originals and prints, and they're really reasonably priced. So rush over there and, you know, spend all your money and make me a happy person, make me a happy artist. No, but, you know, I haven't got it all worked out yet. I haven't got my originals up yet, but I do sell originals. They are very beautiful. You know, I've been doing this for 15 years. You're going to get not just a bargain, but something really amazing. So I don't show them yet, but I will in the near future. And there'll be something well worth buying, in my sincere opinion. Nothing biased there. Okay, back again soon. Bye for now. Wherever you are, I really hope you're enjoying life. You know, that's why I paint, because it makes life so wonderful. Gareth, enough of the lecturing, mate. Bye for now. As we say in Japan, adios. No, matane. Bye bye.